playing. Hey, so we're gonna finish off this podcast, but if you beat Nier Automata, don't go anywhere, and you can listen to an hour and a half Spoilercast with me and Limey Fuck, Mr. Clemps. That should be playing after the music? How do you want to do this?
Dio, take it away.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pat hijacking the podcast to have his Limey Fuck guests on to talk about bullshit. Unfortunately... Hey, shut up. I'm doing your intro. Unfortunately, Matt and Wooly are going to be taking quite a long time to get to Nier Automata. Or Automata. And I wanted to do a Spoilercast now. So I have actually gone abroad to find foreign scabs to do a Spoilercast with me. And with that, I present to you a friend of mine that I've recently made on the internet, Mr. Clemps. Yay!
Hello!
Welcome to the Super FriendCast, Mr. Clemps.
Hey, it's great to be here in the studio. Wow.
Where do you make videos, and what kind of videos do you make?
I make videos in my house.
I meant plug your social media shit, jackass.
I make videos on Mr.Clemps on YouTube, or you can just type in Clemps and you'll find my videos there. I do videos on niche pieces of shit.
Like Dragon
that nobody's ever played. Yeah, my baby!
Or Dragoon, depending on which one you prefer.
Yeah, things like Drakengard and Nier and stuff like that, like those like weird little gems. I also do JRPGs I think are legitimately good, like Legend of Legaia.
Oh, dude, you and my girlfriend are the only people that I have ever spoken to that actually like Legend of Legaia. I love that fucking game.
Man, it's the best game! It's so goddamn good!
I know.
Like when I made the video,
no, it's not good, but I really like it. I really like it, but I'm not going to say it's good. It's super formulaic.
It's great. What are you talking about?
Fighting game moves for the
fucking
inputs on the random battles.
You do the same thing in like what's that new game that's out? I say new. It's called like Lisa.
That game's like 6 years old.
It's new compared to Legend of Legaia.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw Legend of Legaia 2 just got added to the fucking PlayStation 2 list on PS4. And I've never played it, but I heard it's trash. So.
I know we're going into Legend of Legaia lore at the moment, but it is not the game I wanted it to be. So first of all, it's like Legend of Legaia in a parallel universe. So there aren't any fun things like capturing Seru. Oh no, my friend.
But
you get although they do have enemy stands, which is kind of interesting.
But that was like the whole thing.
Yeah, so imagine Legend of Legaia without the fun. Yeah, exactly.
Man, like didn't you just recently play a bunch of Jade Cocoon?
Oh my god, Jesus Christ! So that's going to be the next
Jade
video.
Cocoon, man. It's supposed to be the Nier Spoilercast, but fuck it, tell me about Jade Cocoon.
Okay, so Jade Cocoon, right? This is going to be the next video that's coming out. I don't want to date the podcast, but
we're having this interview on the 7th of May, 2017, the day before.
There we go, perfect. Yes. So Jade Cocoon was this game I played frequently as a kid. I played it religiously on a demo disc, and I fell in love with like the whole monster hunting aspect of it.
I played that exact same demo disc.
Yeah, it was great. And so like I found it in a shop one day, and I was like, "Oh, Mum, you got to get me this shit." And you know, because I was a good little boy, she bought me it, and I played it again recently, and it is an old 90s JRPG, all right.
And all the things I can think about remembering about the things that amazed me when I was a kid about it were the bizarre setting was really appealing, and the fact that it was one of the first non-square RPGs that used pre-rendered backgrounds. I was way into.
It's really interesting because it has a lot of it that like they clearly put a lot of work and effort into. Like the first of all, the pre-rendered backgrounds are just like, there's so many of them. It's ridiculous, and it's all of like forests.
Yeah.
So it's like, geez, the monster hunting and monster merging is borderline like crazy. How many combinations you can do, but after playing the game, there's so many plot inconsistencies that go on that
seriously?
It makes me want to puke. It makes me want to puke.
Problem that I was expecting you to describe.
Oh my god, I get so angry in my video. I'm like, what are they doing? It's so annoying.
Well, then,
what's one that I can say here without
without denying your video precious views?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so at the very beginning of the game, there's this old lady called Mother Garai, and she's talking about like how there are like you trap the monsters in little cocoons, but there's also these things called black cocoons, and they're not very good. You should stay away from them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're never brought up ever again.
Ever
in the entire game ever. So there's that, and then there's also the fact that at the very beginning of the game, your girlfriend Mabu, she's like, she has this because she's like purifying all of your cocoons for you. She gets this like disease called cursed brandings. Never once brought up again ever.
Oh.
It's just a thing.
Oh, okay.
And but it's brought up to be this big fucking deal.
All right,
it's like,
all
but
right,
it's
Clemps, let me cut you off there.
I'm getting mad.
Say to the viewer at home, the Nier Spoilercast for Nier Automata, Nier Original, and all the Drakengard games that tie into this are going to be happening right now because I have a fantastic segue. And the fantastic segue is, speaking of things that are never brought up again, what the fuck is up with Eve's tattoo? What the absolute fucking shit is the deal with the tattoo of the Watchers on that motherfucker's chest that is not brought up a single fucking time ever, even though it's right there! It's right there! It's the fucking symbol!
I can answer this very simply because Taro answered it in a recent interview.
Are you serious? All right.
He did. It's not going to be exciting, my friend.
Oh, what? Is it just...
I know.
Oh, don't you fucking dare sit there and tell me that it's just a symbol that he found in a book while researching humanity. That's totally fucking it, isn't it?
Okay, you're so close.
Okay,
you're so fucking close. I think it was Adam who found it.
Oh wow!
And he was like, yeah, this is some ancient symbol that was like really important for like that humans did in the past. Oh, so I want you to like adopt it on yourself. And it's something like that. Yeah. And because Eve was like, he has this big fucking boner brother for his brother. He's like, I'll do it for you, baby. And just like,
fuck.
And then and like, so that ticks me off. Okay, so when people hear that, they're gonna go, wow, did Clemps not like Automata? No, completely. That's not the point.
I like Automata a lot. I heard.
I kinda. Yeah, it is. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. I love it. I absolutely love the game.
It's a high quality video game.
It's really good. Yeah, but at the same time, Taro, my boy, my favorite ever director, he sure has a lot of fucking annoyances to him.
So after having gone through just 2 of his games, I've only gone through Nier and I've only gone through Nier Automata, right?
Uh-huh.
He has what I would call highly specific eccentricities. In that
yes.
I see the same tricks repeated. Like, the same exact tricks repeated over and over. And because they are not popular in general, they still pack a huge punch.
Yes.
But if you play or know about a couple of his games, they do lose a slight modicum of impact because they are not totally unforeseeable. And probably the biggest one for me, the biggest 2 is multiple endings that lead to different places.
Oh, yeah.
Is exceedingly novel, but not for him. And the other one is that the final encounter is actually a stripped down mini game of some kind.
Yeah, which Automata got rid of. Oh no, wait, you're wrong. Fuck. I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Sorry.
No, Automata does the
damn it.
exact same thing.
Yeah, it does it. Yeah. Oh my god, sorry, I completely forgot about ending E, you dumb shit, Clemps. Jesus Christ.
Oh, you're supposed to be the expert, bro.
yeah, the podcast is over. Switch it off. Let's stop.
I can't help but feel that a lot of the impact on that stuff is kind of... Like, how do I put this? I'm trapped in this tough place in which I got so much extra value from Automata, having played Nier in particular. Nier is clearly the most important one to this. Like, Drakengard and all that is they're tangentially related, but like there's an actual through line. And,
yes.
and knowing about Drakengard. But at the same time, I wish this one was the first one that I had played.
Really?
Because, well, I would have missed out on the increased context, but I lost out on the increased novelty.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And I don't know how to
I don't know. Automata is such a strange thing for me because I don't want to say, like, you know, like, as somebody who's been a fan for this, because I don't want to sound like I'm being... Because a lot of people who are fans of Drakengard, they like come across as a bit hipsterish.
Oh, is that because they're crazy and they like games that have terrible gameplay? Is that why?
Like me. But it's the kind of thing where, and that's one thing actually I've got to bring up, is when there are people who are really being really smug right now, and they're like, oh, if you haven't played Drakengard before playing Nier. Or Nier Automata, I don't know what to say to you. It's like, why would you want to? Don't get me wrong. I think playing Drakengard it's an experience in good and bad ways. The gameplay is nowhere near as bad as people make it out to be. It's a bit of a meme, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
but it's pretty typical, like, average PS2 hack and slash.
It's totally average. So when people are like, the gameplay's trash, it's like, no, not really. I can play it, and I have more fun with it than, like, most other games I play, so it's like,
Well, the main problem is that it's like the quality differential in between what you're playing for, which is particularly in the older ones, the plot, and what you're actually doing. The quality jump between those is bizarre.
Oh, yeah,
it's
definitely.
Off-putting. And I'm not personally a big fan of going through a rough part and having like a cutscene as a reward, which is why I kind of resent those games.
Sure. I mean, that makes sense. I think the whole reason I wanted to do the Drakengard videos, which and I know a lot of people, like, I know because when you were first like giving me a little shout out on Twitter, and it was like, you know, go check out his Drakengard stuff. Funnily enough, that was around the time when I was like, I really want to remake those videos. because like, don't get me wrong, like, I still super appreciate it, but I feel like, because I was still trying to, like, find out... No, it's, are you kidding me? Like, it's probably the most help ever. But essentially, I rewatch those videos now, and I'm like, I like the information I get across, but my god, I come across as such a fucking tryhard as far as comedy goes.
Of course you do. You're a YouTuber.
Yeah, it's true, but I don't know. I was trying too hard to make it like to kind of like elongate the sketches, and they come across as a bit cringy to me, at least. And like,
I think that the one that held up the best, I'm not sure which one it is, but it's your description of Emil's Alien War. In which
I like those Nier videos. Don't get me wrong.
I think that bit is like 8 seconds long.
Yeah,
I think it's my favorite one.
I was really happy with that bit. I did that like almost on an impulse. I thought, this will be funny. So my girlfriend is actually the camera lady.
Aww.
If anyone's wondering who's behind the camera, it's her. She's always been there, just kind of helping me out behind the scenes. We're like, yeah, we'll do this. This will be funny, I think. That tends to be like
absolutely,
the full stop is I think, and then we put things together and see if it works. But yeah, with the whole, I guess I wanted to do the Drakengard videos because I hear people all the time going, wow, I really like Nier, but what's Drakengard about? What's it all about? And people are constantly asking the question.
I had a very similar feeling in which Liam told me that, or it wasn't Liam actually. I had briefly touched on it somewhere before we did the Nier LP, and it was like somebody just offhand mentioned to me when I was talking about Nier, like, I don't know about this game. It's like, that's a sequel to the weird fucking Drakengard ending where they blow up Tokyo. And I went, what?
Yeah, are you kidding me? Yeah.
And I went and looked up, like, just that ending. Right? That was the first thing I had ever seen of Drakengard. And I went, whoa, that's a weird fucking ending for what I thought that game was.
It's really creepy.
Let me go look at footage. I'm not playing that. Right? And...
You don't want to do the rhythm game. It's such shit.
And I heard 2 wasn't quite as good. And I was I forget who I heard from.
Drakengard 2.
This is many ages ago, right? And I felt like weirdly trapped in that, like, I want to know more, but the access to that is somewhat denied by my own stubbornness or my,
Sure. Yeah,
and I was left lamenting, like, and it's weird because my lament, my big like, oh, this sucks, happened after Automata had been announced, and I knew that like Platinum was going to be making it, because I can see that I could have said, if before that, gone, boy, I sure wish Yoko Taro could work with a company really good at making action games, and.
I believe it when
I sure do love Platinum, but that would be one of those things we'd say on the podcast, and we'd all go, ha ha ha, like that'll ever happen.
I know. I remember when Nier Automata was first announced. It was the biggest fever dream. I remember watching E3, kind of subtweeting about it on Twitter, and then all of a sudden you see Keiichi Okabe, the OST director, and you see Yoko Taro, and I go, hang on a minute. It's just like, what's going on here? And then you hear that music, and I remember just staring at the screen in silent disbelief as you see Platinum Games. Just like, is this a fucking dream?
It's and there was a similar thing that we've all been complaining about forever, which is like Platinum stories, unless they're going for really, really, like, I think Wonderful 101 has a good story because it's going for pure tongue in cheek. It's classic like fucking Sentai stuff, right?
Yeah.
But their own stories tend to be really bizarre and pretty weak. And it's just like, oh boy, I wish someone who could write well and make interesting scenarios do that. And look at this nice little baby they made. Now, it's definitely not perfect.
Weird.
It's definitely not perfect. There are way too many long shooting sequences in that game.
I can say this, and I can say this completely sincerely. I love Nier Automata, but I'd say my game of the year so far is Persona 5.
Yeah.
I think... Yeah, it is. It has more consistently fun moments, and I feel like, as far as me picking up the game and not wanting to put down the controller, Persona 5 just... It wiped the floor.
There are some bits in Nier that, like, kind of dragged on for me. I think that Playthrough B, or Route B, or however you want to call it, is very weak compared to the Route B thing in the original Nier. I think that
I was definitely going through 9S's route thinking I just want to get to the final endings.
It was really weird, and like, I get what they're going for. I really get it, and I appreciate it. But at the same time, and I have friends of mine who beat the game and had a much bigger problem with this, so your mileage will vary, right? 9S's hacking minigame is great. It's really good. It's not that great. The amount of importance and the amount of time associated with it, and what I mean by not that great, I really quite enjoy it. I think it's a nice, simple way, and I love how the music drops out. My problem is that it removes some of his combat functionality.
I agree. It's also annoying when you get used to another character, and then you're used to using your heavy attack, and then all of a sudden you just start... what the fuck are you doing, Nines? Oh, I'm hacking.
Well, the goofier thing is that you have to hold the button down. If you didn't have to hold the button down, then it would actually be a lot more natural, because you would hit triangle for your heavy attack, and then he would hack someone instead. And then you go, oh, okay, and then you end up hitting them with a big power attack and, what have you. But... yeah. I would run into a situation where I'd be, square, 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 triangle, and I would just come dead stop in my combo and just stand there.
I had way too many moments like that. Like, 9S's playstyle, I mean, I think I can go as far to say it's one of Platinum's bolder choices.
Yes.
To have a character where his heavy attack is you go into a fucking, like... what's the style again? I guess it's a rail shooter?
No, that's...
oh no, you silly sod Clemps. What are you talking about?
It's like...
kind of bullet hell-esque.
Bullet hell adventure. I'm thinking like a top-down battle zone kind of thing.
Yeah.
But...
I thought it was... I think the second I started to really get into it was where... you get to the part where you start to hack into the main Yorha.
Yeah, so I was going to bring
PC
that up.
bunker. Yeah,
and the thing about it is that you need to that gimmick doesn't work unless you've already hacked normally 100 times.
Yeah,
right. It would mean nothing to me or you or to anybody else to use the same control methods to do something novel if we hadn't been doing it the whole fucking time already.
Oh, for real.
But it's like. There is not enough variation in those hacking sequences. Like, there are maybe 15 different hacks between hard and easy enemies. And then there are your boss hacks, which are all more or less unique.
Sure.
But like, I'll hack a guy, and you get decent enough, you're blowing through them in like half a second, or 1 second, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's just mindless, and it kind of loses some of the effect of, like, hacking, and it reminds me of a... Did you ever play BioShock?
Never, actually.
Okay, so in BioShock there is a hacking mechanic, and it makes you play Pipe Mania.
That's pretty cute.
In which there is a point on the upper left of the grid and a point on the bottom right of the grid, usually, and you have to uncover these plates and move the pipes around to let the water flow to hack it, right? And it took fucking forever. It took like a minute and a half to do every single hack in that game. And
Jesus Christ.
Nier Automata fixes that by having it be super, 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 super fast. But it still runs into the same problem of it becomes rote. And
it also becomes incredibly easy to break the game with 9S, especially when you find out the Golden Rabbit trick.
What's the Golden Rabbit trick?
Oh, my friend,
I do not know that. No.
You can get to level 99 in less than... I mean, how much did I do it in? Like, in 4 hours? So basically, when you go to... And this is for all you listeners out there, there's a little friendly tip from Clemps. What you got to do, you got to go to the amusement park. This is going to sound like some fucking you find Mew under the truck kind of shit, but this is actually true. This is actually true. You go to the amusement park with 9S, and you go to the very... the place where you first enter, and it has that giant golden rabbit statue.
The one that's
like the machine
enemy, even though I could never figure out how to attack it.
Yes. What you have to do is you have to completely wipe out every single enemy in the area. I think, now it's probably easy just to Google it, because, my walkthrough might be a bit flawed. I think you're meant to hack one of the bigger enemies, and, kill enemies with that. Or you can just wipe them all out. I'm not sure. I think it worked for me either way. And then, so long as all of the enemies are not there, you continuously attack that fucking statue. You keep wailing on it. Even if it's 15 minutes later, you keep attacking it. Eventually, the statue will wake up. And you can lock onto it. However, it's essentially like a secret mini-boss.
Got it.
And when you hack into it with 9S... it makes it incredibly easy because you can hack into it, as you were saying, so simply that it automatically removes about 3/4.
You're 15 feet away, and the hack is nigh instantaneous, and in the hack time doesn't move, so it can't attack you.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So you end up removing about 3/4 of its health. You defeat it, and I think the first time I did it, I went up by about 10 levels.
There is a very, very similar exploit in Persona 5.
The Reaper trick, right?
Yeah, the Reaper trick, which I used to... I'm not done with P5. I'm at, like, fucking dungeon, I think, second to last dungeon. But, like...
I will not...
I can't even attack enemies anymore. Because Ryuji's fucking thing auto-pops, and it removes all random battles from me.
Ah, you're a Ryuji boy, are you?
Oh, I'm so strong. I'm so strong.
I don't know about that.
We'll have to get into that later. now it's about Nier. But yeah, no, I felt that while the first hour of playing a 9S was incredibly novel, because I adore having, like, hey, play this sequence from the other character. And the stuff that you do in the beginning as 9S is awesome, because it's all different. It's all the other side of what was happening.
It's so interesting, and it's really depressing that you see a bunch of people who are like, well, I've done Nier Automata ending A now, guess I'll just put the game down. It's like, did you see the message? It tells you probably should keep playing the game.
Press start for like a second. You would have seen a brand new cutscene start.
I don't want to throw any shade, but there was a reviewer who was like, Nier Automata, it's pretty fucking stinky. I'm up to ending A now, and I won't be touching it again. Ha! It's like you haven't even touched.
All right.
Like, you haven't even got halfway through.
I will defend that point of view, and it's if you don't like the game all the way up until then, you're still not going to like the game.
I guess so.
5 to 10 hours is more than enough to gain someone's attention. Now, that being said, I think that person has terrible fucking taste. Absolutely.
Sure.
But unlike, I don't know if I like this, I think you can definitely go, I fucking hate this within a certain time threshold. And what bums me out is that, like, yes, okay, we're going to do the Taro thing. Or Taro. I'm not actually sure, but we're gonna retread the events the last time, but we're gonna retread them from a different perspective. It's a different perspective, which we spent maybe the past 10 minutes talking about. How I don't think the gameplay is quite as good as the character you were playing as, and that's a problem. And it's a different perspective in which the beginning sequence leads you to believe that you will see wild variances, and then you realize that those characters almost never split up ever again. And you basically completely redo everything with one change at the end with the battle with the giant monster in the ocean. And
I hated that boss.
And it, like, you get a few cutscenes that establish, like, something more is going on. The bit with, like, the sepia toned, like, flashback cutscenes.
Oh yeah, I like those bits.
But overall, like, I was frankly surprised at how much of Route B was like a complete do-over.
It did enough where I would consider it just like. It's more just kind of explaining what 9S was getting up to, and I'm fine with that because I think as somebody who's played a lot of Taro's games, it's like for a fact there's more to come, and sure enough, when you complete it. But I'd also feel if you're playing this as a new game, you'd probably just feel like, oh, this is a cute new game plus, But yeah, it's just sorry, one sec, my fucking screen went dead.
It's this weird problem because, like, a lot of the games, all the game's biggest moments happen in its third act, and
they did such a good job at, like,
with the second
nailing
act
that.
being the weakest, and the average person maybe not knowing how his ending shenanigans work. The likelihood that people give up on that is high. It's really hot.
I agree completely.
And I think
and
that
it is such a shame. Yeah, seriously. I've had a few people say, like, you know, oh, I've gotten up to, I'm halfway through ending B, but I'm really burnt out now, and it's like, that's a shame.
And for me, the way that I played the game, I did every single side quest as it came up.
Jeez.
So
even I didn't do that.
I spent, I did all of them. The only one I did not do is the one that requires 9S to have gotten the enemy data on, like, 95% of the items in game.
Oh, you did, didn't you? I remember because I was really curious and like how you were just finding the game. I was a little bit nervous, honestly, because I was like,
I did not do that one because that one's like, fuck you, man. I'm not
kind of bullshit. Yeah.
So I did every single side quest as it came up, and if you do that, the game's pacing becomes super weird because 2B's playthrough A is crazy long. It's super long. It's like 25 hours long.
Oh wow!
And then you go through as.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Then you go through as 9S, and you have very few side quests to clean up. There's a couple new ones, and that's pretty much it. And then you get to, and then, I guess maybe this was smart. When you get to the third act, and and they give you the choice between A2 and 9S, I was desperate to get away from 9S's gameplay style.
I am so with you on that one. And can we talk about A2 and how the second you get her, it's just mwah.
A2 is this weird thing because you ever play No More Heroes 2?
I want to.
Okay, so No More Heroes.
I really do.
I'm going to spoil a very minor aspect of one level design.
Go ahead.
No More Heroes 2. So No More Heroes 2, target number 3 or 4. There's a character named Margaret Moonlight. And she is one of the best designs in the game. She's one of the best fights in the game. But more than anything, she has the best track in the game. And it is a kind of a pop lullaby that she sings to you with lyrics about the fight. And it is stellar. Nice. Stellar. That boss fight is the best in the game, in my opinion. And I think Suda thought that as well. But he put it at the end of the worst level in the game. And it is a level in which you go to a supermarket and you fight, guys pull up out of their cars and they get out and you fight them. And you fight them for what is actually like 15 minutes. And it is a slog. It is an absolute
that sounds
slog.
Boring.
And I remember that in some fucking interview after the game came out, he described that as a bold choice because he put this thing after this thing in a supermarket, and what it was supposed to symbolize was like the drudgery of daily life.
Come on.
And then like that kind of shit. And
I get annoyed when Taro does that in Drakengard 3 when he pokes fun at how the game is bad. It's like, don't you do that.
So when I started to play as A2, and not only does she have all of 2B's moves, she has new ones. She has an entirely new mechanic that was like... So instead, the top mechanic is taught to you via tutorial early, and it is clearly a ghettoized input of like flashing your flashlight.
Yeah.
Whereas A2 actually gets it as a dedicated mechanic in a way that works very similar to Jetstream Sam in Revengeance. And she also gets the no limit mode, and
which I used about like twice.
She also it's really hard to use properly.
Yeah, it really is.
Every time I used it, I died, so I stopped using
it. Same.
She also gets the fucking teleport damage boost on her dash, and it feels like 9S is like slow on purpose, so that when you play as A2, you feel like you're driving a race car.
It feels so good. The second I started dodging with her, I'm like, this is my girl.
Oh, she's so great.
I don't know how I can go back.
I wish she had kept the long hair. I way prefer that version of her design.
I always put her wig on
because
I can't help it.
And you like me and Wooly will argue all the time about short hair versus long hair on girls. Like I much prefer long hair. Whatever. That's not actually what's important. I felt like it was important distinction between her and 2B.
But this is the thing. I feel the entire reason she had long hair was as a red herring to put in the trailers.
Yeah,
I am positive that was the case because
there is some stuff
they did a great job.
I saw, and I was like, I remember watching those trailers and being like, man, that trailer's a big spoiler. And then I beat the game and I go back and watch it and I was like, well, no, they totally tricked me.
It's fantastic. Like the way they did it so that when you watch the trailer, it just looks like 2B's looking a little bit dirty. But no, my friend.
No.
You know,
No.
Can we just drop it?
Oh,
Because I guess it's the spoiler
okay,
cast.
we're in spoiler town here.
Yeah.
Anyone listening to this, so in the main podcast tomorrow, I'm going to be very explicit and be like, don't listen to the next part of the podcast if you don't want to get fucking spoiled on this shit.
But please follow Mr.Clemps anyway.
Yeah,
He's a very
he's
good
cool,
boy.
I guess. Whatever.
Stop it. Stop
Limey,
right now.
limey prick. Anyway, so yeah, no, drop it. So when 2B dies.
When 2B bites the goddamn dust, and when that happened, I wasn't shocked.
No.
I was like, I knew somebody was going to die. I wish it wasn't 2B.
Yes,
But,
I agree.
you know, it broke my little tin heart. But then when you start playing A2, it's like, you know what? She's living on inside her. It's fine.
Torch got passed, kind of thing.
Oh, but Pat, my friend, there's So you remember when I said I had some juicy news for you about
all right.
some of the stuff that Taro said?
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you remember when there was a? Maybe we should drop it now.
Yeah, drop it now.
Okay, so this may be segueing a little bit from what we were talking about, but basically, Taro has released a new he's released a new novella for Automata. First of all, it hardly relates to what what I'm going to be talking about, but the novella, to very quickly summarize it, I'll be bringing up all of these in my future analysis, which for anybody listening who watches my content already, will not be happening for quite a while.
No,
simply because
it tend to take a while to put those videos out.
not only that, but Taro is also being a cheeky boy, and he is releasing brand new Automata lore like every couple of months.
Oh.
So it's like, I don't know whether I want to make this analysis, and then a week later, Taro's like, by the way, all of that, the half of the game, it's
why
like...
did you say that A2 was a robot when
Exactly.
Taro said yesterday that she was a cyborg?
That's what I mean. And like, I have people in the comments, God bless them, no shade towards them, but it's like, people are like, what? It's already been 2 months, Clemps. Where's your Nier where's your Nier Automata analysis? And I'm like, oh, sweetie.
We need your hot,
You
we need
have
your
no-
hot take, man.
That's what my review is for. I think I give a
suppose so.
very, very good opinion in my review, as far as like what I thought about the game. So if you wanna, if you're a little bit thirsty for what I think, you can go back and rewatch that. But so to go back on the novella, it is about 9S and 2B revisiting the temple from Nier.
That seems
it's
important. It seems
It
like...
isn't. It's not as. It sounds important, but I think it's only because, like, oh, do you remember this place? Well, there you go here. This is in the eyes of 2B, and you know that she's 2E by now.
Yeah.
So she is kind of. I think she's thinking internally about how she's going to be killing 9S, because I think canonically, I can't be too sure, but I think she's killed 9S around 7 times. I think so, anyway. It could be more. If I'm wrong, then please correct me. I know some of you will. So, but basically, they're going through the temple, and eventually, I think 9S like clicks onto the fact that 2B is acting suspicious. So they end up fighting, and sure enough, it ends with 2B killing 9S, and the whole point of the novella is to simply understand how 2B's mind works when she's going through her execution, like kind of her executioner. Can't even say the word. Her executioner mindset.
Right.
Fair enough. Substandard novella. It's fine. But then Taro decides to drop a big juicy ball on us and go, well, there's going to be a Nier Automata concert coming out soon.
Right, I remember.
Which has
talk about that.
The amount of story-changing shit that is in this Nier concert is fucking insane. And I'm do you mind if I do a quick shout out to another Nier content creator who is very talented?
Shout.
Okay, there's an absolute sweetheart called Pixie Valkyrie. I'm sure a few of you have like seen her in my recommended, like whenever you click on it. She does very nice, relaxing kind of recaps, and she goes into the characters and everything like that. So if you're a little bit thirsty for some more Nier content while I'm kind of waiting for Taro to drop all of his shit, then go check her out. But basically, I think she covered something about Automata, and I'm thinking about a lot of the Nier content creators is that it's insane how quick your work can change the second Taro decides to drop something big like this.
Well, it's a weird situation in which one person is in charge of all canon.
Exactly. Like, he only recently came out, and do you remember the bit in the game where it has the god coming out of the volcano?
Yes, I do remember that.
That is BP.
It is... Oh! I guessed right then!
It's BP.
I was super right.
He's it's BP. He says I think he said in the interview, somebody asked him, what is that large thing that comes out of the volcano? And he goes, read the fire of Prometheus. It's like, right, it's BP then. Or I shouldn't say it's BP, it is the hive mind previously known as, BP.
Right. Oh yeah. The fucking weird fucking separate robot thing that he becomes, and...
So that's a thing. So for anybody curious, that has been tied up. So that's what it was.
I would like to say something about Yoko Taro, and particularly in terms of the concert and the novella and the stuff you're talking about.
Go ahead.
I resent his work output. I absolutely, as a English speaker,
sure,
I fucking resent the situation he has given to the average player as to the realistic impossibility of knowing what the deal is with most of this stuff.
He's such a cunt. I love him so much.
And on top
he's
of
so
that,
funny.
I resent him for a second reason in regards to his work output. And that is about, I forget when it happens, but I think it's when you start to play as A2. You can go and read about what I believe to be half of the stage play.
Yes,
the
you
Yorha
can.
stage play. To fill in some of the gaps for A2 and Anemone's story.
That's right.
And it is terrible! It is awful!
Oh my god, now put yourself in my shoes.
There's a couple clips of it in some of your videos, and it looks like fucking dog shit. It's so bad.
I was going to say, put yourself in my shoes. Put yourself in the shoes of a little British baby boy. You have to sit down and you have to watch this... No, sorry, I shouldn't say watch. You have to read the script of this... Okay, Yoko Taro is very good at writing video game scripts. He's not good at writing stage plays.
It's weird. I would think that writing a game would be harder.
There are some moments in it, and this is one thing that I find really interesting as well, and this is something which it's going to be a theme of this Spoilercast, and it's going to be a theme of my future analysis, is that Yoko Taro's games are all tied up. They all link with one thing in particular, and that is flowers.
Yes. That's
flowers telling a lie. Actually, no. It would technically link into Drakengard 1.
Yes.
It technically would.
Because of the seeds of fucking resurrection or whatever.
Exactly, yeah. And the fact that, oh my god, are they called the seeds of resurrection because they come from the Watchers, which were born from the fucking Black Lotus? Oh my god. But yeah, basically, if you read the stage play, you'll know... and this is another thing as well.
Oh god, fuck, they're all fucking named after fucking flowers. God damn it.
They are all named after flowers, correct.
That's probably the cringiest shit of the whole fucking thing. So bad, dude.
And there's also the lunar tear as well, which is also a flower. And this is all information which was passed on to me by my friend Lexi, who actually knows the Sleepy Cabin members, who I think you guys know. Mm-hmm. So she's a super sweetheart, and she's also an incredibly big Nier fanatic. So me and her, we have these like around the campfire moments where we have our fucking tinfoil hats on, and we're like,
me and Wooly used to have those similar kinds of conversations back when Metal Gear was still ongoing.
Yeah,
and
I fucking love it.
We would sit down and go, okay, in this scene, who was controlling Ocelot? Was it Ocelot? Was it his mind control? Or was it Liquid's ghost in the arm? Okay, which one?
We have stuff like that, and we have moments where all of our conversations are just in capital letters. It's just constantly, what the fuck? But yeah, so first of all, everything is linked by flowers. Mm-hmm. And obviously there's like the lunateer and stuff like that, so that's one thing. How, you know, all of the stage play people are named like Rose and everything like that. So that's one thing that a lot of people miss. Mm-hmm. But you know, as soon as you mention it, people are going to go, oh.
Don't Popola and Devila wear flowers in their hair?
So, they do, yes. Mm-hmm. They sure do. And fun fact, Devila and Popola are actually named after a Drakengard 1. They're named after... It's actually it's technically an Easter egg for Drakengard 1. They're named after a Drakengard 1 weapon called Devila Popola. Like, all one word. So, that's a little tidbit.
Oh yeah, there they are. They're wearing their fucking white flowers in their fucking hair. I'm looking at screenshots right now.
And,
oh man, I fucking hate their new hair so much.
It looks... it's funny
like
because
fucking Japanese
Barbie
models.
They look like Barbie dolls.
Stupid.
And in a way, I was like, oh, they look like dolls, and I was like, hang on a minute, that's the point.
Well, yeah.
I
like their hair art so much better.
Ooh, that's right. That's what I was going to say. Okay, so in the stage play, there is a character called Number 2. Mm-hmm. And Number 2, throughout the entire story, she has now, some of the androids, they're all kind of... I guess they're all kind of prototype Yora.
Yeah.
And there's like Number 2, Number 14, they're all kind of spread numbers. And they all have memories or personalities installed into them to give them, like, an attachment to human beings. That's all androids really are, because obviously they have the cores of machines in them who are continuously trapped in this loop.
In the Yorha units, anyway.
Yeah, in the Yorha units. So the Yorha units, they also have these kind of machine cores in them and everything. This is important to something I'm going to be mentioning later. I don't know why I went on to that. That's kind of gone off topic. But whatever. Basically, they have these emotions installed into them. And Number 2 has the she has the memories of a happy girl spending the day with her grandmother.
Oh, shut up.
Now, Number 2,
is Falmouth.
It would later turn out, is A2.
Yes.
A2 has the memories of a younger Kaine.
Yeah. That would explain an enormous amount of her personality.
If you want, you know, so when people are like, are we going to see any returning characters from there? Well, technically,
kind of.
You got the memories of Kaine inside this android, and so that's interesting.
You got the sequel to Devila and Popola, as it were.
Yeah. Popola and Devila or Electric Boogaloo.
I absolutely adore Devila and Popola's storyline.
So that's really interesting about Number 2 being A2. When I first like figured it out, it's like, oh my god. And then this is the bit which the concert just slapped me across the face with this shit. Mm-hmm. Now, if you listen to the number, you're going to be like, oh fuck. There was another Yorha unit made called Number 9. Mm-hmm. And Number 9 is the overarching villain of Nier Automata.
Wait, what?
Exactly. Okay. Number 9 is an android that was created by a. I think the
little machine girls, the red dresses.
Oh, how wrong you are!
What? No, shut up! Don't change the build on me after the game came out. I beat that game.
Okay. I mean, don't get me wrong; they are villains. However, it was all set in motion by Number 9. So Number 9 was created by I think the inventor. Actually, no, I can't say. I think he was the inventor of the Yorha units called Zinnia. Mm-hmm. Again, a flower. And now Zinnia. Wait, I don't know its gender. So for now, I think they mentioned that Zinnia's voice is the voice of 2B's pod. So I can only assume that he is male gendered.
Got it.
So I'm going to call him a him just because of that.
Let's do it.
Mm-hmm. So Zinnia created the Yorha units. Now I haven't read this in a couple of days, and I was meant to yesterday, but it slipped my mind. So I may trip up on a couple of bits.
Just tell me the thing, Clemps. Just tell me right now.
Okay, so Zinnia created the Yorha units. He basically did the whole thing where it's like, you know, there are. Let me try and get my words right here. The whole project is, you know, essentially they'll be scrapped and stuff like that.
Right.
That's the unfortunate thing, is that the Yorha units are born into this world to be scrapped, just like humans, you know, as
basically,
dark as that is. Yeah, exactly, just like that. Now, Number 9, he had a very close connection to Number 2, right? For some reason, Number 9 just kept following Number 2 around like a little goddamn puppy dog. And then one day, Number 2, she was looking around, she can't find Number 9. Where's Number 9? And then she walks into the laboratory and sees Number 9 beating the shit out of Zinnia. And pretty much killing him.
Yeah.
And turns out that Number 9 got a little bit too suspicious and went digging
and
found exactly. Number 9 found a back door into Zinnia's research and found out that the Yorha units had machine cores put into them. They're expendable. Humanity are no longer here. So what the fuck is the point in even fighting? So Number 9, he goes fucking Taro bonkers at this point. Mm-hmm. And he does this, he makes this new thing called the Yorha Project. Or Project Yorha, I should say, which is the entire purpose, because I think Zinnia was trying to do something with he was trying to, like, do something related to humanity, I think. I think he was trying to, like, completely trick people into thinking that humanity was still alive. And I think Number 9 carries that on to an extent. But he does something... Oh, my God, this is... You're going to have to forgive me, because...
very confusing right now, Clemps.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it.
Are you telling me that Yoko Taro's story may be somewhat opaque?
The issue is that me and Lexi were talking about this with our tinfoil hats on.
Were you drunk?
And it is... Well, I don't know if Lexi was, but I was drunk on rage. I was very annoyed because, number one, the guy who translated it tried his best. That's all I'll say.
Oh no.
He tried so fucking hard to make it make sense. But I think even the translator is like, I'm having difficulties.
Beautiful duet.
Exactly. So I think to Number 9 essentially created the Yorha Project. He created the fact that the machines will find a back door at some point. Okay. He made the fact that the little girls will find the fact that humanity aren't real. He makes this entire continuous loop of androids fighting machines for the sole purpose of existing.
Why would he fucking model a version of himself only to get murdered?
I think the 9S models were already being made. I think he was just the prototype.
All right.
But Then they started to make the 2E models, which were based off the A2 models. And that's right. I forgot to say, by the way. Yeah, exactly. So I think number 2, or I'm just going to call her A2. Fuck it, we all know. A2 stabs the original 9S, and 9S at this point is just like, why the fuck do I exist? Why do I exist? Why do I exist? He's gone insane by this point. He can't understand why he was born into this world.
Seems to be a problem with that model.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they set up a thing where, and I even think 9S, the original 9S, even makes it so that every other 2E thing will have to... Yeah, that's right! The 9S original model made it so that 2B would continuously kill his other models, that's right. Or at least the one model who 2B is partnered with, because I think the 9S who's partnered with 2B has the original memories of that prototype number 9 installed into him, and I think he's meant to discover it kind of with the death of 2B, because I think it's like it's all set in motion.
Okay,
you see.
and that's when you get the weird bits where A2's talking to him, is like, you've known all along, haven't you? And stuff like that.
Yeah. You there we go. You did it.
I have railed against the Kingdom Hearts series for this. Because the Kingdom Hearts series likes to spread its bullshit across every available platform.
Yeah.
But Taro's ability to retroactively take your feeling of completeness away is unparalleled. Because I'm
trying really hard to make
foreign concerts, fucking albums that you can't acquire legally. Period. We're talking stage plays for no one. We're talking dozens of books for no one.
And I am really trying my best to make this make sense, but you have to understand that even
other people out there, and there's too much.
Yeah, I am finding it very difficult to completely understand what has been written. Number one, because the translation is a little bit. As I said, the translator tried. So I am going to try and correct a lot of what I've said, because I can guarantee you I've messed up on a couple of things in my analysis.
Don't worry, Mr. Clemps, if you make any mistakes on this here podcast, you can just go down to watch Mr. Clemps on YouTube, and he'll have a video up eventually where he corrects all his mistakes. He'll make a few new ones. So then you'll have to go back and watch. Hey.
Oh, do you mean like the time when I said that fucking Red Eye was Kaim? Do you remember that banger?
That was bad. Even I was like, that seems wrong. I
couldn't believe it. I'm so disappointed in I was, you know, you get that feeling, that
Isn't that
flash
piece of art
through your
not
body.
Even like official?
It sure isn't. Now, I was told by multiple people that, like, oh yeah, it's fine. It's kind of, don't trust people.
Yeah.
Don't fucking trust. And after that, I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do my own research 100% from now on.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, I went back and I corrected it. However, there is still a lot of things which are linking the fact that Kaim most probably, or at least the shell of Kaim, was probably the first Red Eye. There are a lot of things which are hinting towards it, but that's another story for another time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and then there's another thing in the concert as well, Pat. Now this happens after the final ending.
Are you serious? Stop doing that! Stop it! I hate that!
Do you remember how the ending was happy?
Yeah, it was hopeful, even.
No longer. A2 is dead.
Okay, why?
She will no longer turn on. It's just a thing. A2 she was recovered from the wreckage.
And they
She's
fixed her
dead
on,
as a
but
dodo.
she just doesn't turn on anymore.
You've kind of predicted what's going to be. Actually, I don't even think they found her. But you kind of hit the nail on the head. What happens to another character? 2B wakes up. I think she wakes up after a long time, and she wakes up next to 9S. And essentially, what she tries to do is she's trying to I think she's trying to find something. she's trying to find something in the wreckage of the tower, and she's furiously digging to the point where her fingers are bleeding and everything, and the pod's like, yo, 2B, chill out.
Right.
You know, if you keep on overexerting yourself when you've just woken up, then you are going to stop working. And 2B's like, no, I've got to wake up 9S. I've got to wake up 9S. Like, I just know I have to.
Right.
And she finds something, or she does something to wake up 9S. You know, she starts to, like, hack into him. But 9S, obviously because he's a hacker, he recognizes this in his unconscious state, like when he's about to be booted up, and he chooses not to be turned back on. And I don't think he knows who's trying to turn him back on. But essentially there's a message, I think, left in case 2B happened to do this, I think.
Gosh.
And it's basically saying, like, I would rather never work again so long as I can keep these memories. Oh, that's right, yeah, because I think he thinks that when he's woken up again, he'll lose every memory. That's not the case. If he's woken up again, he'll have all of his memories. So that sucks. So basically,
does 2B get to be alive at the end, though?
2B lives.
Okay, cool. She's the best one. So,
but she ends up fucking crying her eyes out as the pods say to each other, "Well, looks like the cycle isn't broken after all."
Well, but, like, she can go hang out with Pascal, I guess.
I was thinking that. It's like, yeah, Pascal's cool. So, oh, yeah, that's right. And he also added in more things to the team.
God damn it.
No, actually, Pascal gets a relatively happy ending. Pascal eventually makes, like, treaties with other robot factions, and he also makes, like, a complete peace treaty with the other androids. And I think he goes, like, further, and you know how, like, in Grimoire Nier, it has, like, the 2003, the grotesquerie falls from the sky, 2005, this shit happens. It's kind of like that. It's like Pascal, he remade the village, and he makes peace treaties. He essentially gets the happiest ending out of all of them.
Yeah. And deserves.
But then, yeah, I agree. But then as the years go on, I think this is really cool, actually. The very final bit to this documentation is the robots end up having, like, wars between each other. So I think it's like the very first documentation of a machine civil war. And I'm like, that's great. I like that. That is a fine ending. Yeah, Pascal gets to live. 2B is left a emotionful wreck, I guess.
But her
9S
ass is so big, Clemps.
Oh my god, Pat! I wanted to sit on my face and crush.
All
me.
right, that's enough.
Stop, Clemps.
Just look at it for a second and then look away. It's like the sun.
I can't help it.
Yeah.
I'm like Icarus.
So I gotta say, like, because we gotta get away from this theory crafting for a second and finish off actual talk of the game's flow. That third fucking route, man, goes. It fucking goes. It doesn't stop. Everything from, hey, Pascal, maybe pacifism doesn't always work, to 9S losing his fucking shit.
Oh my god, the 9S thing was brilliant.
To the God Box, to the fucking... just everything in that fucking route is fantastic.
What did you think when 9S lost his shit?
Oh, dude, I was so excited. I was so
Wasn't
ready.
it?
With one... I don't know. There's a couple things that bug me about it, but the having parts of that final boss fight, or second penultimate boss fight of 9S versus A2 be denied to me because my character was slightly too strong sucked. The Easter egg hack of, like, being inside the game's menu, I was never able to see it because my character was like level 260. It was level 66. Oh wait,
sure.
Clemps, I'm sending you a fucking image in Discord that you'll probably appreciate. I don't know if you've seen it.
That's great. That's exactly what happened.
It's fucking 9S being a dipshit and fucking putting his sword in the bicycle wheel and then stripping under the sword and go fucking A2. It's so crazy how we get to that ending and we have a character who is a fucking huge bitch. Like, A2 is a cunt. Straight up. She's a bad
She sure is.
Right? And she is standing there, like, being reasonable. It's like, dude, we have to not do this.
This cannot continue.
Do we really have to do this right now? Can you not just chill for a second? And Mr. 9S, cool, calm, collected, that you spent the whole fucking game with, and you have watched his, like, pretty decently paced descent into madness, just going like, no, shut up, you're horrible.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, so I'm choosing between a character that I care about, but who is now totally lost it as a problem, or a character that I know very little about overall, in comparison, but who actually knows what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
And I feel like both of the endings to that fight are very satisfactory.
I thought the bit when 9S was tripping up on his blood, that's the first point in the game where I actually winced, because they even add in the sound of, like, slipping up on, like, a slippery surface, and it's fucking real.
Bad. It's real bad.
I was like, shit.
And it's something that I got to thinking about the Yorha units, a lot of it, and it's something you don't see with a lot of the other Android designs, right? Mm-hmm. And that is, why are the Yorha units in particular so absurdly attractive? Why do they even have blood?
Oh, right? Taro answered this.
Yeah.
He did. Very simply put, I think Zinnia wanted them to be beautiful because he wanted them to be like the peak of what humanity could be.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and he also. Oh, sorry, go on.
It's more of me to like the blood is actually more of a factor of like, why do they even have clothes? Why do they even have? Well, they probably don't have organs as we would say, but like, why are these fucking robots bleeding? Is it so that they feel more distant from their fucking machine enemies?
He answered this too.
Oh.
He did, and it's fairly simple, and I can accept it. Is the androids have something which is essentially like machine oil, but it's coloured red simply to imitate humans.
Okay.
Every single thing from clothing to blood. Taro even mentioned that, we're going into the anatomy of the androids here, but Taro said it, androids are originally born without genitals. However, the sole fact is that if they want to, they can actually grow, like, synthetic genitals. They can produce a liquid that resembles human semen, but is essentially just, like...
What interview was this? That he's talking about...
What I can do is, after the podcast, I'll find the exact... Taro must have been thinking about it when he was writing. He's like, people are going to ask me this shit. You know? Actually, I think he was basically... A bunch of people were like, so do androids have, like, organs? Do they have, like, sexual organs?
The main reason why I can see people asking that question is that because in one of the sequences when 9S is hacking, he sees the message of you're thinking about how much you want to fuck 2B, don't you? And that makes no fucking sense if they're all sexless robots.
I've heard a theory that it isn't actually fuck, it's actually kill.
Ah, come on, though.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
Come on, come on.
I like the idea of both of them being true. He wants to fuck and kill her,
I like the idea that it would be ambiguous and you could even have this discussion. That's why it's blacked out instead of just being just right there.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of, can we talk about Adam and Eve for a second?
Yeah, let's talk about the Bishy Bros.
Yeah, Mr. and Mr. Underused.
Oh boy, they exist purely to throw you off in the trailers for who the true bad is.
They exist purely for me to fancy them. That's all they exist for.
Hey man, do we really gotta wear shirts? Nah, yeah.
I liked all of their banter. Their banter was really fun.
That banter is, how to put this? It's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
It's probably the most on the nose thing in the entire game.
Yeah, it's really good.
The fucking Eve gets born out of Adam's rib, and he's reading a book, and he's eating a fucking apple, and he's talking about why we have to like fucking hide our nakedness because I get it. I fucking get it.
I kind of like how they brought up like the thing where it's like, isn't Eve a girl's name? And he's like, listen, Eve is a great name, and he's like, okay,
I guess.
It's cute. I like it.
Now, flex your perfect muscles.
Oh my god, bless him.
So I gotta. So before we get into what I think is the core theme, right? Like that credits ending is super strong.
It's really good.
That's the best version of that trick or meme or trope I'd say of like some of the earlier like I can think of RPGs, right? That's like everybody come together, we'll all unite, and we'll all use the power of friendship or whatever to right. And as hokey as the name as that sounds, like it's always pretty effective. That this hides that from you for so long, and that it is people and something that they actually had to give up to do it.
It's beautiful.
The exceedingly competent score and the vocal mixing. Like,
did you hear that? You know when everybody's voices started to chime in?
Yes.
Did you hear that? That was all of the people who were working on Nier Automata.
Yeah, and Yoko Taro's in there as well.
It's so fucking sweet. I love it.
Hear that. And it's the developer singing to you as you murder them, basically.
I love that. I really feel like... And this is another thing as well, is that I was nervous going into this game that Platinum Games would... Now, I know that Taro was directing it, but I was a bit worried that... I mean... I wouldn't have a huge issue if we went into it and it was like balls on the wall crazy in like a goofy way. So in a way, almost like Drakengard 3 done right. But I was so happy to see that Platinum have given us the best possible genuine sequel to Nier.
Oh, absolutely. It would have been very easy for Platinum, I assume, to go with their typical action formula, which is good deal harder, and I don't mean harder in terms of difficulty. I mean like they go harder into the action than usual.
Sure.
With most of their games, and this one they dialed it back quite a bit. It's
they really did.
Game. It's a simpler game, and the action is enjoyable. It's loose. It's fast, but most of the time it's invisible.
It feels kind of like the older Nier as well. Like it feels like this is a sequel to Nier. Like it has all of the things that
polished.
It's what Nier I don't want to say should have been, but I feel like
no, it is what Nier should have been. Absolutely.
Here's my issue with that, right? A lot of people are going, I really want to see a Nier remake. I disagree. Because I don't want to see. One of my favourite bits in Nier is the bit where Kaine is talking to Emil, and she does that moment with her hand, and she gently brushes it against Emil's face and everything, and she's being incredibly affectionate. I don't know if they can replicate that.
I think that is a kind of absurd worry. I mean,
I guess.
Given enough time, I could reanimate that scene to be identical.
That's what I'd like to think.
Like, I'm certain that even Square Enix kept the rigs for those animatics.
Yeah.
I would not. That seems odd. Like the people over at Platinum can animate a cutscene just as well as Cavia.
Don't get me wrong. I'd love for that to be the case, but here I am, I'm a fan of bad games. I want my bad games to be bad.
Yeah.
No,
you're weird.
No, I would more like to see a Drakengard remake, or even Drakengard 4, made by Platinum. I'd love that.
Boy, was I disappointed in 3, man.
Drakengard 3 was trash.
Because, like, I was like, okay, here's my chance to get in on this crazy, oh my god, this is terrible.
It's as soon as I booted up the game, because I remember thinking, like, it can't be as bad as people were saying. The frame rate can't be this bad. Now, Drakengard 3 has a few moments to me that I would call memorable in a good way. The final route, I'd say, is a solid Taro story. But then again, you have to play through this slog of shit to get to that route. So I'd recommend not playing it. But God, the second you start slashing and the blood coming on the screen, it's like, I can see what you're going for, but I really want to disable this as soon as possible. And the second Mikhail starts blasting fire everywhere and the frame rate dips below 4, it's like, my God.
It's bad.
Bad.
The only thing I liked about that game technically is one of the things that you brought out in one of your videos, and it was the intoner mode, bringing in vocals to the tracks.
That was amazing. That really was good.
Automata's use of that technique is so expertly done that it invalidates it in 3.
Mm-hmm.
In that you have your standard track, and then you have your back track with vocals on it, hiding in the background for the moment to happen. And then you have the chiptune version of both of those arrangements. Hiding
that blew
in the background,
me away.
just in case 9S starts to hack something. Platinum really, like, I think they pushed the envelope with their music technology in Revengeance, where the music was always perfectly timed to power ballad when you needed it to power ballad.
Yeah.
And this is the absolute perfect natural conclusion of that. The composer from Nier, and his style seems to work really well with this kind of idea.
Did you hear that Yoko Taro always gets pissed off when he's like, when he hears people go like, the Nier game was a bit bland, but that music though, he's like I wish people would talk about my game more.
The music is more consistently high quality than the game.
It really is. It's so good.
If they said the writing, then yes, we would be, sure.
Yeah.
But the game overall, the music's a fucking A+. The game's a B- with qualifiers.
2 okay emoji signs from me. Thank you very much.
I don't even know what the okay emoji is.
It's the one where I was about to do it. Like, I was about to show you.
Your hands?
Yeah. I was like, it's this. Oh, hang on. Oh my God. It's 3:30 in the morning, my dude.
We've already way overgone our estimates for time. Right now.
Jesus, we really have.
So I'm going to try and start wrapping this up a little bit.
That's okay. Sure.
How do you feel about? You get all the way to the end of the game. You've done all these events. You've fought all these, and particularly with the red girls turning on each other, and I felt like there's obviously a really overt theme of what does it mean to be human, right? Because no one is human in this game, and they're all imitating humans in their own way, and 9S, in particular as a character, says the androids are more human than the robots, and then only to start lose his fucking shit when he finds that distinction is completely meaningless. Completely meaningless. It's worse than meaningless. It's like the reverse of what he thought in some cases.
And what's fantastic is that the fact that they have machine cores mean that they are the exact same in machines, that they're going to continuously repeat the same shit over and over again. And
so that's the really obvious theme. And I felt that there was also a more, nihilistic theme at the end of it, which may be more appropriate considering where that story supposedly goes afterwards. And that is that, it is the irony of all these different synthetic life forms desperately trying to imitate us, but we suck. And constantly make these horrific mistakes, and that like human centrism itself, like every character in that game practices human centrism as their primary philosophy, and they're wrong to do so, because if they were able to just stop doing that, all of their problems would go away.
Yeah. God, I love it. I love it. I love it so much, but as we were saying earlier, the game is not... It's not a solid diamond. It's like it's a little flawed diamond. I think 2 of the bosses in particular are fucking trash.
Which ones are those? The ones that look like a random robot that I can't remember, or the other one?
I can actually be quite specific here. I'm talking about Robot in the Water. I thought that was boring and incredibly easy.
And you have to fight it twice!
Oh, you sure do, and it's just, this is good, why did you do this? Oh my god.
It's a non-threatening weirdo design, and...
I remember getting up to that boss, and I was so angry, I went onto Twitter, and I was like, well, I found my first problem. I was like, this is bad. And the other one is the very first boss you fight with A2.
The balls...
You know what I like? I like having lasers just get you out of nowhere, and you have to continuously mash the goddamn dodge button. It's like, this is great fun. I'm having a swell time.
I had a genuine flaw. Like, if I was gonna if we're at the part of the point where we say the flaws, because like I like nearly everything about this game. In particular, I agree. Like how valuable the side content was to the overall experience. Some like the fucking a man and woman who run away from your god. Only to that fucking side quest that hurt me. That got me worse than most of the stuff in the main story.
Oh, damn it! It makes me feel sick.
There's something bad in your chest that just goes, oh, my human agency, right? But their slavish design consistency with the machines really started to get old by the end of the game.
Yeah.
The core design of nearly every single machine life form varies almost nothing between its sizes. They all have the Emil face. They all have the same kinds of proportions. And if you get to a certain size, which is anything bigger than the big tall guys, they become either like squares or cubes. I was wishing and it's with the one exception being the worst design in the entire game, being the big like salamander guy.
Yeah. I was wishing for something with blood in it. You know, apart from the boars and the moose or the elk, whatever, I just wanted something organic with a bit of life in it. Because don't get me wrong, the machines they're fun little guys. You know, I like their designs. They're nice and simple. However,
they have very little
as you said, they get. It's like I just want to fight something just a bit different. Like give them like horns or anything. Like I know there are ones in the forest who wear the armor, but it's like even that isn't any different. Like change their physicality. You can be so inventive with it. You can create like just machines that look like goddamn mechs if you want to, but they really choose not to, and it's like I don't know. I kind of I like the idea of the fact that when the machines were first made, they didn't look anything like they did. But when the aliens started to fight Emil, they were like, we need to recreate it.
They're like, okay.
Yeah, we need to make it. I like that. That's cool.
I also appreciate how the aliens are just like fucking like 1950s fucking tentacle like Simpsons characters. Like they are the most goofy looking fucking dead aliens.
I laughed out loud when I got up to that bit because all I was thinking was, wow, I really undersold this bit in my Nier analysis. I was like, oh, by the way, there's one bit where he fights aliens, but this isn't important.
No, it's actually the most important thing. Everything.
It's like, are you fucking... Oh, for fuck's sake. Like, thank God I didn't ignore it. I was milliseconds away from cutting, like, the Emil fighting the aliens bit out of the video until I made that live action bit work.
Right.
So thank God I did that, otherwise it would have been a shit show.
All right, man. We've been going for an hour and a half. I want to ask you, if you had to give like one big last thought. Oh, you know what? Here's your last thought. What do you think of that DLC? Because when they announced that DLC, I had just beaten the game and deleted my saves and had no desire to ever go back to that game ever again because I felt it had been completely completed, like, in my heart. How do you feel about them putting that weirdo fourth wall breaking DLC with weird costumes out, like, after people have likely done that?
The DLC is fine as far as DLC goes. I think the arena battle, they're interesting because, of course, Taro puts his own input into it, where all the enemies you fight in the arena are, like, begging for you not to kill their mum, who's also in the arena with you, but of course you kill everyone. And it you know, it brings up the fact that the androids who are doing it are, like, they're kind of showing the emotion of not the emotion, like the act of human cruelness and everything like that. And it's like, okay, I get it. But what's the most interesting is that they actually incorporate the music video done by Amarashi.
What?
Do you remember the music video that was like accompanying Nier Automata before it was released? It had like all of those dolls being crushed by machinery.
No.
Oh, it's nothing. It's not entirely like plot heavy. Don't worry. It's basically this music video where there's a bunch of dolls being crushed by machinery, and at the very end, you get to see this beautifully made 2B doll, and just a big fucking machine arm comes down and just about to crush it, and they cut. And they have the whole music video as like a well done for completing the DLC. Here's a music video you can look up for free.
Weird.
It's really weird, but I'm kind of glad they included it because I think that music video is insanely beautiful. And I think if you haven't seen it, you should check it out because the song is really nice as well.
Oh, man, I'm yawning, and it's not even nearly as late for me as it is for you.
Yeah, it's almost 4 a.m.
Oh, I thank you very much, man, for like tagging along so I could get some of these fucking thoughts out. That tattoo thing pisses me off. That is bullshit.
Don't even get me started again. I'm gonna flip.
Hey, Clemps, if people want to watch your videos or follow you somewhere else, or I think you stream on Twitch as well, correct?
I do, yes.
Where? Tell me. Where are those?
Okay,
locations?
I'll fire it out. If you want to follow me, then you can go to YouTube and type in Mr.Clemps or just Clemps. You'll find my channel there. I also stream at Clemps Twitch, all lowercase, all one word, and I also have a Twitter, which is just Mr. Clemps.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Clemps. I really appreciate you coming down.
I've had a great time.
To the podcast location, and we're totally not doing this over Discord.
What are you talking about? I'm here live in the studio.
I really appreciate it. I will hopefully we can have you on for a fucking longer, like, live podcast in the future. But I felt that in this case, there was no way that I'm going to fucking make it so that, okay, guys, we did the podcast. Now we'll go sit in the other room for 90 minutes while we talk about a game that you have yet to play. Because he handles all the fucking back-end stuff and, you know, play the stream outro and all that shit.
Yeah.
So if he ever gets around to it, we'll definitely have you back on.
That'd be great.
Or maybe we'll have you back on. I don't know. You seem nice.
Oh, thank you.
So thanks again, Mr. Clemps. Do you have anything else to say before we seal you off? Because you're ending out the podcast now. Like,
sure.
I
guess
the end of the podcast.
I guess I can drop something a little bit sappy. If it wasn't thanks to you and Paige, then my YouTube channel wouldn't be kind of doing as well as it is today. So thank you very much. I truly appreciate it.
All right, thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
Cool.